Today, we are actually going to cover something cover something that regards what I was covering in the last video about Steven Crowder and Carlos-Maza of Vox, and whether or not he should have been well, not, that whole demonetization thing. Now, Michael Tracy had some words to say about this, and I went back and watched his video after everybody did a little talk about it on Twitter, and he had some words he had to say. And I'm not going to replay the video or what he said because I'm not trying to get deplatformed. But basically, Michael Tracy said that because of the status that Maza has as a journalist, that basically, not even basically, he literally said verbatim, get over it, right? Get over the homophobic slurs because you're a journalist, and that's just kind of what comes with the territory. Now, I'm not going to discuss my take on it quite yet, but Mike Figueredo had some choice words about this on Twitter. So Mike said to Mike Mike from the Humanist Report said, Michael Tracy is a right-wing fraud, and I hope people on the left stop propping up this grifter. He accused an old lady of pushing him and played the victim then. But a gay person being harassed for 2 years, get over it. And he also told some other words for him too. All right. I don't know about the old lady thing. I'm not exactly sure what that's about, but so he laid into him a little bit there. Now, I had a response to this as well. I mean, other than all the other stuff, the I don't have a lot of insults for that man, but I do agree that it was a terrible take. I said that, wow, that was a terrible take by Tracy. There are so many productive ways to handle this convo at a fundamental level if we're going to have the free speech discussion. Get over it is not the route I thought he'd choose. Disappointed. So Jackson Facts, big shout out to that guy, or I'm assuming it's a guy, could be assuming incorrectly, but he always gives a pretty balanced reply to a lot of our tweets, and then on the chats as well. So he's replied that he watched the full video of Michael Tracy, and Mike makes great points about giving our power of free speech to big tech company oligarchs to police our behavior. And I am with all that. While his phrasing certainly is insensitive to the oppression of the gay community, the focus of his point is on free speech. I don't think anybody is debating that. Jackson Facts also goes on to reply that the humanist labeling Michael Tracy as a right-wing fraud and grifter only continues to feed into the divisiveness that those in power want us to practice. We can't be asking oligarchs to step in and fight our battles for us. It sets a precedent for suppression of free speech. Now, I want to be very clear about something. Me and Mike somewhat diverge a bit on when it's okay to deplatform somebody, but Mike wasn't disputing the power of big tech companies. That's not what Mike was saying. And if that was what he had said, I would kind of have a better I would vibe more what Jackson is saying. But that's not what he said. And I'm going to explain why it's important to understand where Mike is coming from. So I said that I don't think it's necessarily appropriate. I don't think that it's necessarily appropriate to call him right-wing per se, because I don't think that Mike is right-wing. For the most part, he and I generally tend to agree. He generally tends to agree for the left. Can he be a little bit contrarianistic? Yes. It's kind of the thing now. It is what it is. Can he be a little bit? Yes. But very rarely do I see him go after the progressive left. Mike was actually one of the first people to get it right on Tulsi while everyone else was smearing. He actually got it right. And he was putting people in their place. Now, remember, I got a lot of respect for Mike too, for Mike Figueredo. Mike got it wrong on Tulsi. And a lot of people could have attacked him as a neoliberal grifter. But they both been right. They both been wrong. I've been wrong too. But I do, from my personal perspective, I think that both of them, for the most part, behave in good faith. I do believe that both of them, at some point, of course, they have their biases and they have, their unique way of going about handling business. Mike Figueredo tend to being more of the optimist when it comes to, the left, and Michael Tracy more on the scrutiny side of that discussion. They both have their place. But I do believe that for the most part, they are on the same side. So that's why I say I don't think it's necessarily appropriate to call him right wing. But if someone did call me the N-word on YouTube in an attempt to denigrate my existence, you can make all of the good points you want, but no one is going to tell me to get over it. That is ridiculous. And I do find it ridiculous. And I go on to say, I don't know why it's not coming up here. Because they asked me, why would I promote censorship? And I didn't say that. I didn't say I would promote censorship. And he, Jackson, like I said, Jackson always providing good commentary, pretty well balanced commentary. So I see it presenting a well balanced and accurate perspective on this for sure. My concern is more with the Humanist Report's attitude. It only feeds divisiveness in Silicon Valley. Divisiveness the Silicon Valley oligarchs want us to feed into in order to get each other's content removed. I can't necessarily disagree with that either. However, I have a little bit of a different take here. Once again, not saying his take was wrong, but I said that I can't say I would be this rational if because you said I have a well-balanced approach to the conversation. Because I understand that Mike Figueredo, I understand where he's coming from. I do also understand that Michael Tracy did make good points in his video, but like I said, I can't say that I would be as rational as I'm being right now if my identity was directly minimized. Although Jackson's point was well taken, marginalized people of all kinds are tired of being told to get over it every time a straight white man wants to do something to seem edgy. And this is a fact. Like if Steven Crowder was telling me, you're only being protected from being deplatformed because you're black. You want some grape drink? How would you like for some watermelon? I got some chains outside. This is the type of stuff, but towards gay people, that Crowder was saying to Maza. If you saw that compilation video, boy, he wouldn't say it to me. That's all I'm saying. He would not say it to me. And considering that Mike Figueredo is part of the LGBTQ community, when someone tells you to get over it, it minimizes your experiences. Because we know that words lead to actions. You speaking into existence is a real thing. You insult somebody enough, you denigrate them enough, you minimize their humanity enough, you get shot in the street by cops. You get beat, and beat up in school or bullied for being gay. This translates into people who elect officials, whose elected officials start passing legislation that further dehumanizes marginalized people. So get over it because you're get over being, attacked about your sexual orientation because you're a journalist doesn't fly here. It's more than insensitive, right? Okay, like I understand the point that Michael was making, and then Michael does make great points in his video, but then he immediately minimizes those points by telling, basically, that's what he said. He was talking to Maza, to be fair to him, but you just can't say that, because if you would have said it to me, I would have reacted the same way. I can't pretend as if I would be this rational. But out of respect for both of them as journalists, I saw this getting a little out of hand on Mike's Twitter account. So like, as respect for both of them, I would ask Michael to apologize, explain that he didn't mean it in that way. Like he was trying to say, like, you need to get over being attacked, not being attacked for being gay. I get what Tracy was saying, what Michael Tracy was saying. I understand it. But nonetheless, you can't pretend like there isn't an underlying issue that Steven Crowder thought that it was okay, it was appropriate, and also he thought it was funny to say the things and do the things that he was saying and doing to Maza. Now, as far as the deplatforming aspect is concerned, I think that I've been pretty clear on that. Real quick, I'll check out the super chat. I am Ali, appreciate it. Have you seen Jimmy talk about this situation? Not this specific situation, not this specific one. But as far as the deplatforming is concerned, like I said in my last video, like I literally just did a video about this. I don't believe in YouTube being able to just deplatform people because it's inconsistent with their community guidelines half the time. They don't exact punishment consistently. They pick and choose, and they get it wrong a lot. We see the residual effects where 2,000 channels get deleted the next day. Like, they get it wrong. And I said that this is a public good. YouTube is a public good. There needs to be a judiciary process. If you're going to, when people have shown adequate enough reason that this is their business, this is their main income, not just here, Facebook and Twitter as well, Instagram as well, then you need to put together, and this is why antitrust laws need to be updated. When someone, you're going to deplatform somebody, you can't take away someone's business license without going to court. You can't take away someone else's real estate without going to court. You can't even shut down someone's business, like a stationary business, without going through the correct procedures to do so. The same procedures that have to happen every single time, and a precedent is set going forward that everyone can adhere to. So we know what the standard is. There's no question as to whether or not someone is being paid. Because that was my thing. I'm like, Steven Crowder says horrible things on a regular basis, but he only faced temporary demonetization, whereas Alex Jones, on the other hand, was completely and totally banned. So where's the standard? There isn't really any. And this is consistent across the board for all social media platforms. The largest ones that have a disproportionate influence on society need to be regulated. Because Silicon Valley has demonstrated that it can't do it itself. And when you're messing with people's jobs, when you're messing with people's livelihoods, when you're messing with people's money, there has to be mechanisms in place to ensure that the consumer is not being harmed to such a degree where their livelihood, their reputation, and their brand is being destroyed off of a whim because you don't like somebody. I am not saying, by the way, that Crowder should never, ever, ever be banned ever in any circumstance. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is that there needs to be a judiciary process to determine when someone legitimately violates community guidelines. And if you were going to exercise a certain, if you're going to exercise the ability to to punish this person in this situation, then when this person on the left does the exact same thing, whether it be slurs, whether it be lying, right? Because that's part of the community guidelines, lying. That happens often. CNN, MSNBC, Fox News. We've seen them encourage certain behaviors. We've seen them lie so much that a lot of what they applied to ban Alex Jones should be applied to ban all those platforms, but they will not do it. And that is why what I'm saying. So whenever people are going to court for their trying to keep their platform, they would easily be able to point to CNN, Fox News, MSNBC for every single time they've lied straight to our faces. The standard for deplatforming needs to be high. It needs to be very, very, very high. And there needs to be a way to go about it in a very transparent process so that people can have the confidence to know that monopolies in Silicon Valley are not controlling the outcome of their livelihood. And I think at their core, both Mike and Mike, no, seriously, both Mike Figueredo and Michael Tracy understand this. Once again, I hope Michael Tracy does, that he apologizes for that, because I understand where Mike Figueredo is coming from. And I do hope that Mike understands that Michael Tracy is ultimately on our side. He's a little bit different in the way he goes about his business. But I wouldn't put him in the Ruben camp. Ruben is a different thing. So, with that being said, people, thank you all so much for tuning into that live stream segment of Mikasa Sukasa. Make sure you're still subscribed, because you're probably not. Also, make sure you still hit that notification bell. As you probably have guessed, we're getting hit by the adpocalypse as well. So any help to the Patreon, we would greatly appreciate it. Literally, our revenue has been cut in half. And that's not an exaggeration. We're almost doing the same numbers, but our revenue has been cut in half, to give you an idea of what we're dealing with here. So, I am Ali. Michael Tracy makes a good point. Maza basically makes fun of his sexuality by having Gay Wonk as his Twitter handle. He invites people to make... Yeah, but that's different. Just because I can make a black joke about myself, I can have fun about my blackness, about my struggles, about my experiences, doesn't mean I can start making racist, anti-Semitic jokes about Jewish people, or whenever a Jewish person is, makes a joke about them, but then they're under a legitimate attack because it's intention. The intention behind an action is just as important as the action itself. Okay? Intentionality is everything. Making light of your experiences in order to get over them, to try not to dwell on them so much, is common amongst marginalized people. But that does not then give someone else a right to say, get over it. We've seen that all too often. And and like I say, he was not being nefarious. I know that. I know he wasn't trying to be a dick. But I get it. Sometimes you want to be edgy and all that good stuff. But it's like I said, it's always easy for a straight white dude with a platform to tell others to get over it. I'm not saying that, Michael is a bad person. I'm not saying that because most of the time he gets it right. A lot of the time he gets it right. Just got this one thing wrong. No big deal. No big deal at all. All right, people. So, remember, more than anything else, find your balance. Peace.